Dear students, welcome to Alibros EduSoft. In this video, I am taking continuation of 8th standard Civics textbooks 5th chapter Judiciary. Let's continue with the topic. Does everyone have access to the courts? In principle or by the constitution, all the citizens of India can access the courts in the country. This implies that every citizen has a right to justice through the courts. So, according to the Constitution and Judiciary, each and every citizen of India has access to courts and everyone needs to get enough rights for approaching the court. Courts play a very significant role in protecting our fundamental rights. So, court is the supreme authority which deals with the protection of fundamental rights of each and every individuals of the country. If any citizen believes that their rights are being taken away, they can approach to the court. Even though court is available for all, access to court has always been difficult for a vast majority in the country, especially the poor community. So, even if the constitution says that each and every citizen of India has access to the judicial system, but the most majority, especially the poor community, now also has no access for the judiciary or the rights to approach the court. Legal procedures require large amount of money, paperwork, and also it takes lots of time. That is the main reason why the court or judicial system is not accessible for most majority of the country, especially the poor. For an illiterate daily wage earner and poor person, the idea of going to court to get justice often seems remote. So, these are all the major reasons of the individuals who has no access to court or judicial system in the country. Next is Public Interest Litigation, PIL. Supreme Court of India introduced mechanism of public interest litigation in 1980. This was introduced to increase access to justice. It allowed any individual or organization to file a public interest litigation in the High Court or the Supreme Court on behalf of those whose rights were being violated. So, public interest litigation allows each and every individual to approach court easily without any wastage of money. Legal process was greatly simplified and even a letter or telegram addressed to the Supreme Court or the High Court could be treated as a PIL. So, the PIL is very cheap compared to other judicial system in the country. That is the reason why Supreme Court has introduced public interest litigation. This is more accessible for many citizens of the country. PIL is used to secure justice on a large number of issues like rescuing bonded laborers from inhuman work conditions and securing the release of prisoners in Bihar who had been kept in jail even after their punishment term was complete. Public interest litigation deals about different issues of the poor classes and each and every individuals of the country. Filing a public interest litigation is more cheap compared to other system of approaching to the court. That is the reason why the apex court, that is the Supreme Court of India, has introduced the public interest litigation in the country. Midday meal that children now receive in government and government aided schools is because of a public interest litigation. So, filing a public interest litigation also led to the beginning of midday meal in the schools. Next, I am going to say about the history of beginning of the midday meal in government and government aided schools. In 2001, the drought in Rajasthan and Odisha meant that millions faced an acute shortage of food. So, you can see the drought occurred in Orissa and Rajasthan here in the picture. Animals and also different people, animals and individuals died of this drought in Rajasthan and Odisha. Meanwhile, the government godowns were full of grain. Often this was being eaten away by rats. During this period, government godowns were filled with grains. In this situation of hunger amidst plenty, an organization called the People's Union of Civil Liberties or PUCL filed a public interest litigation in the Supreme Court. It stated that the fundamental right to life guaranteed in Article 21 of the Constitution included the right to food. The state's excuse that it did not have adequate funds was shown to be wrong because the godowns were overflowing with grains. The Supreme Court ruled that the state had a duty to provide food for all. So, different people from Rajasthan and Odisha came forward against this. Even if there were drought in their place, the government godowns were completely full. So, people came forward and they filed a public interest litigation PIL to the Supreme Court. And finally, Supreme Court came to a conclusion that the government godowns are full and this does not provide adequate amount of grains for the citizens of their place. This was a major step taken by the Supreme Court. Supreme Court made a most important decision. The Supreme Court directed the government to provide more employment, to provide food at cheaper prices through the government ration shops and to provide midday meals for children. It also appointed 2 food commissioners to report on the implementation of government schemes. So, Supreme Court finally came into a conclusion that the government has to provide more food, more employment opportunities and also provide food at cheaper prices. And also the Supreme Court appointed a commission to give report and check whether these are taking place in a proper way. So students, I'll wind up this video here. The remaining portion of the chapter will be taken on the upcoming videos. If you have any doubts, please contact to this email ID. Thank you.